notice, this 3 variable, it's like takes up 3 lines. It's gonna take us today and tomorrow, to do this. So you'll like do part of the assignment today and the rest of it we'll look at, tomorrow. So your notes for today, page 19, 3A through D. So we've done 2 variable systems. You have not ever done a 3 variable system. That's why we're gonna spend a little more time on it to make sure that, we kinda get it down. So, alright. I'm gonna look at this first problem. So the deal with a 3 variable, hello. I do. Okay. Emerson, you're on this. So take that with you, and I'll upload that video, and you can get it, and I'll do this. You're only gonna do the front of this. Okay. Alright, so basically what happens with a 3 variable system, when it's just the system itself, usually we're gonna use elimination. Most of y'all seem to like elimination a little bit better than substitution anyway. Tomorrow we'll see an example where we can use some substitution. But, so really what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to take a pair and put them together, and a pair and put them together, and eliminate the same variable in each pair. Does that make sense? So one of them is gonna get used twice, so that we can get down to a 2 variable system. Does that make sense? And then from a 2 variable system, we can continue on the way that we've been doing it. So, so what we have to do is just look at which variable is probably the easiest one to get rid of right here at the beginning. What do y'all think? So look at all your coefficients in each thing. Which one's probably the easiest one to make go away? Somebody said it, I think. Y. I would absolutely get rid of Y. So what I'm gonna do, and it doesn't matter which one we do first, I'm gonna do this pair right here, and kind of the big deal about this is just staying organized. So I'm gonna do this pair right here. I know that I want to get rid of Y, which means I'm going to have to multiply one of my equations by what? Negative 1. And it really doesn't matter which one. Do y'all have a preference? Okay, so Ashton, top or bottom?
Top.
Bottom, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that what you said?
I said top.
Oh, okay. So we're going to multiply the top. That's fine. We're going to multiply the top one times a negative 1. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave the bottom one here as is, since I can just use it the way it is. So I'm multiplying this through by negative 1. So that gives me negative 5x, negative y, negative 2z, and a negative 10. Everybody okay there? Alright, so then remember, I'm always adding here, so I'm going to add these together. So my y's cancel, which is what I needed. I've got 3x and a negative 5x, which gives me negative 2x. I've got negative 8z and negative 2z, which means I now have negative 10z when I combine them. And my negative 28 and my negative 10 gives me a negative 38. Everybody okay there? That's what we have. Okay. So that's my first. So now I have that one in a 2 variable equation. That's what I needed. So now I've got to take this top equation and I can pair it with either one. It does not matter. So do y'all want to use the top 2 or do you want to use the top and the bottom? Because it really doesn't matter. Top 2. Okay. So I've got these 2 now as my second pair. Alright, so same deal. I've got to get rid of the same variable. So I'm still getting rid of y. So my top one is 2x minus 6y plus 9z. I'm not doing anything with that one. I need to multiply my bottom one by what?
6.
Negative 6. So I'm going to write it here like that. This helps me know what I did so that if you come to me and you're stuck, I can find it pretty easy. Does that make sense? Okay, so my top one is staying, so I'm going to write it the way it is. 2x minus 6y plus 9z equals negative 8. Let me take a picture of that.
Yes.
and then this one is the one I'm multiplying through times negative 6. So that's gonna give me negative 30x, negative, oh, I didn't need a negative 6, I'm sorry, y'all, that's positive 6, sorry. Positive 30 there, because we're multiplying by positive 6, sorry, I missed, that was a negative 6y there. Alright, so I have positive 6y here, and then I've got positive 12z, and a 60. Everybody okay there? Sorry, wasn't trying to mess y'all up right off the bat. Alright, so we got that, add them together, check my signs again real quick, make sure we're good. Okay, so here I've got 30 and 2, that gives me 32x, 6y's canceled. 19 or 9 and 12 is going to give me 1z, and then I've got a negative 8 and a 60 is going to give me a positive 52. Are we okay there? Everybody good? Okay, so now I'm looking at these two equations together, and so so this is kind of my next thing. So I'm looking at this right here, and I've got to get rid of a variable so I can solve for one of them. So this is, now we're back to what we've been doing, is we got two variable system that we got to deal with. So what variable is easier to probably get rid of, x or z? X is easier. So this one's 32, so what do I need to multiply this by to get to 32? Y'all know?
16.
16. So I'm multiplying this one by 16. This one gets to stay the way it is. Are we okay there? So if you have room, you can write it right here. If you don't, go over here. So I've got 32x, I have room, plus 21z equals 52. I'm just bringing that equation down. And then this one up here, I'm going to multiply through. So negative 2 times 16 is going to give me negative 32x. So those will cancel. I've got negative 10 times 16 would be minus 160z. And then 38, negative 38 times 16 is negative 608. Now those get it. Everybody okay there? Alright, so those canceled. 160 minus 21 is going to be negative 139 z, and negative 608 and 52 is negative 556. So then I've got to divide out that negative 139. Y'all be super careful with your signs here. Negative 139. So then that gives me z is equal to 556 divided by 139. They were both negative, so positive 4. Is that what y'all got? Okay, so I got z over here. I wrote that sideways just to save some room, but we'd probably be fine there. Alright, so now I know what z is. So I can plug into either this problem or this problem right here, because if I plug in z, then I can get x. Does that make sense? So it really doesn't matter which one. Negative 2x is smaller number, so I'm going to do that one. Does that make sense to y'all? Alright, so I've got negative 2x minus 10 times my z value, which is 4, is equal to a negative 38. So my negative 2x stays. Negative 10 and 4, that's going to be minus 40, is equal to a negative 38. So I'm going to add my 40 over here. So I'm going to have negative 2x is equal to, that's going to end up giving me a positive 2. So I'll divide out my negative 2, and I end up with x is equal to negative 1. Is that what y'all got? Yes. Okay, so now that I know z, and I now know x, then I can go back to one of my originals, plug those two things in, and get a y. Does that make sense? Y'all okay there? Alright, I'm going to use this one that has the 5x, since it has a y by itself. Does that make sense? So I've got 5, and in place of x, I'm going to put a negative 1, plus my y that I'm trying to find, plus 2 times my z value, which is 4, and all of that is supposed to be equal to 10. So 5 times negative 1 is negative 5, plus y 5, 2 times 4 is 8, is equal to 10. Combine like terms over here. So negative 5 and 8 is positive 3, plus y is equal to 10. Subtract my 3 over there. So y then is equal to 7. Alright, so then to make sure that that works, I'm going to use this equation right here and I'm going to plug them all in and make sure I get what I'm supposed to get. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So I've got 3 times x is negative 1 plus my y value, which is 7, minus 8 times my z value, 4, and all that better be negative 28. Alright, so this is negative 3 plus 7 minus 32, it's supposed to be negative 28. And negative 32 and negative 3 and negative 35, add the 7, negative 28, it works. So I can check that, it's good to go. I'm not gonna, you don't necessarily have to show this on your paper, but that's how you know if you get it. So normally we've been writing our answers, we had an ordered pair. Here we have an ordered triple. So you have the x value, negative 1, the y value 7, and the z value is 4. So that's how we'll write your answer on those. Any questions on that one? Are y'all more comfortable with elimination than substitution? Okay, I thought so. Most people are. Alright, any questions on this problem right here? Y'all okay? Alright, so I'm going to flip over to the back and I'm going to work number 4. Alright, so same deal. I have to just pick a variable and it really doesn't necessarily matter. I just usually try to find my smaller ones if I can. So, I mean, the one I absolutely wouldn't pick here is y. So either x or z. Which one do y'all want to do? X, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and pair the first two. I'll do them first. And like I said, the order really doesn't matter. So we're gonna do x. So this one is 3x, which means I need to multiply this one up here by, I need to multiply it by negative 3. So x times negative 3, so I've got negative 3x plus 15y minus 9z is equal to 39. Negative 117, is that what y'all got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then this one I don't have to multiply it at all, I just gotta bring it down. X plus 8y minus z equals negative 19. This is where if you're super messy and sloppy, you can really get lost in what you're doing. Alright, x is canceled. 15 and 8 is going to be 23y. Negative 9 and negative 1 is going to be minus 10z. And both of those are negative. Negative 117, negative 19, negative 136. Y'all okay there? Don't y'all got your calculator? Okay. So now, I'm gonna use the top one and this one so that I only have to multiply the top equation again. Does that make sense? Alright, so I'm gonna use these two. If I went with these two, I'd have to take them both to 6, so I'd have to multiply both of them, so I'd rather just multiply one. So this time I need to multiply the top one times a negative 2. So I've got negative 2x plus 10y minus 6z is equal to 78, negative 78. That's all right? Okay, make sure. All right, and then the other one I didn't have to multiply, so I've got 2x minus 6y minus 5z is equal to a negative 29. All right, so I'm gonna add those together. Those cancel. 10 and negative 6 give me a positive 4y. Negative 6 and negative 5 is going to give me a negative 11z. And negative 78 and negative 29 is going to be negative 107. Y'all okay there? Alright, so now I've got gotta pair these two together. It really doesn't matter whether we do Z or whether we do Y, because basically what we're gonna have, because I don't know anything common between them, which means I would multiply this with a 4 and this with a 23, or this with an 11 and this with a 10, so it really doesn't matter. So do y'all wanna do Z or you wanna do Y? Z, okay. Alright, which means, and since both of these are negative, one of them I'm gonna multiply by negative to change it, so I'm just gonna make this one and I'm gonna multiply it times the negative 11. Y'all okay there? So then this one down here I'm multiplying times a positive 10. All good? Alright, so big numbers. Alright, 23 times 11, that's gonna be negative 253 Y, and this is gonna be 110 Z, and I have no idea what that is. 136. Positive 1496. Is that what y'all got? Yeah? Okay. Alright, then down here, 4 times 10, that's gonna give me 40 Y. I've got a negative 110 Z here, and okay, great, 1070. Negative 1070. Okay, so that's gonna give me negative 213, come this way. Negative 213, Y, that's gonna cancel. 1496 minus 1070, 426, positive 426. Divide out my negative 213, which is gonna give me a negative 2. Right, yes. Alright, so I got Y. Y'all okay there? Alright, so now I've got to pick one of these two to plug in. Really doesn't matter. I'm going to use the bottom one. So I've got 4 times negative 2 minus 11Z is equal to negative 107. So that's a negative 8 minus 11Z equals negative 107. Add your 8 to the other side. 29. Negative 11Z is equal to negative 99. Is that what y'all got? Yes? Did y'all get that?
I'm still working.
I did it in my head, so I was making sure I got it right. But sometimes I mess up.
Yes.
Or y'all got the same thing? Okay. Alright. Divide out my negative 11. So Z is equal to 9. Like when I worked it earlier with my other class, I worked a different way. Got the same thing, but I worked it a different way. Alright, so we've got Y and Z, so now I'm gonna go up here and get X. I'm gonna use this top one because X is by itself, so to me that's the easiest one. So I've got X minus 5 times negative 2 plus 3 times 9 is equal to 39. So X, this is a negative 5 and a negative 2 is going to be plus 10 plus 27 equals 39. So that gives me X plus 37 equals 39. So when I subtract that out, X then is a positive 2. And if I plug it back in, it works. I've already checked this problem. So you just have to pick one of these two to plug it in, make sure that it works out and comes out true. Like I said, you don't have to write that on your paper. Just check it with your calculator and make sure it works. Everybody okay there? Okay, today you're just gonna work the front problems on this, and tomorrow we're gonna look at some more